Mm-hmm. I did the same thing, my friend. I know. Why do we do this to ourselves? Only. What's that? I have not. Is that them in there? Oh, thank you.
Valeu, pija. Todo hielo. Tiene putazote. ¿Eh? ¿Eh? Así. No está ahí pesada, no la puedes mover.
Oh, you mean like the short chairs? Well, I wonder if the cemetery, you need them for tonight? Right. I do have some at the mortuary. If I had known, I could have brought you some, but I wonder if the cemetery might be able to give you a few. How many do you need?
I don't know how many people we work out.
Okay, let me see if they'd be willing to spare a few for you guys.
And we'll bring them back.
Okay, wonderful. I'll go ask Aaron over here.
Oh.
נותנים לסבא חיבוק. את יודעת מתי הייתה הלוויה הראשונה שלי? הייתי בן 28. אוי, גיבורה. מאלק נראה כמו בוטוס. לא הבאתם את הכלבלב? כלבלבת?
I know. I have. Yeah, I don't know.
Hi everyone. Hi Lolly.
Hi.
Hi Ella, right? Hi Ella. How you doing? You look very, very good. You're all grown up.
I know. Yeah.
My great granddaughter.
Oh, great granddaughter.
Esther was asking about shipping chairs. If somebody is able to
That's her mom.
come to the mortuary with me
granddaughter.
afterwards, I can give you some. I think we have about 6. But unfortunately, the cemetery isn't able to let go of any of those. I have some chippichurns at the mortuary. If somebody wants to come by and pick them up after the service. But the cemetery said they cannot accommodate the chairs.
Wait, okay.
So just let me know if you want to. If somebody wants to.
They
אי
can't.
אפשר לקחת את אל הביתה, צריכים ללכת לקחת את זה מהמשרד שלהם.
Yeah, but I know.
מהמשרד שלהם, יש להם 6 right?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
How
I
many
appreciate
are
it. I should have about 6 at the mortuary.
6.
Oh, there are 6.
And what about the Zoom?
I have it all set up. It's right behind you there. It's already streaming. Yeah.
And it's going to be on YouTube.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So how do we know where to find?
So you can find the link either on our website or you can just go to YouTube and search in the search bar Feldman Mortuary and it'll take you to our channel. And then you'll click on the link for the channel and you'll see it there, the live stream. And once the live stream ends, it will remain as a recording. So it will be there. You can watch it again if you want, or other folks who maybe couldn't watch it right now can go back on and see it.
Where are the chairs at? Where are they at?
The shooter chairs are at Feldman.
Which is where?
It is at 17th in York.
You want them? That's it, because I could pick them up and take them to them.
That would be great.
That'd be wonderful. What is your name?
Mara? Shapiro?
Mara?
Yeah.
Okay, Mara. I'm Joya. And when I head back that way, I'll be able to help you load those onto your car.
Okay, so 17th in York?
I'm not sure that we have 10, but however many we have, we'll get you set up.
כמעט עומדת בצד. את לא ראית שאתה לא הכרתי אותה. שבי, שבי.
Feel free to sit. There's plenty of seats in the shade. Can move these out of the way here.
Hi, John. You're amazing. This is my friend Mara. Hi, Mara. Nice to meet you. Mickey. Mickey? Yeah. Nice to meet you. They're great friends. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. No way. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Water while we're sitting. Do you want water? Do you want water? Anyone need a water? You need one?
No,
You're welcome. And you too? Okay. Guys want some water? You're welcome. Some light? Couple of waters for you guys.
I think you're kidding, huh?
Hey. Thank you.
Did you see it? Is this? Is that? Did you see it? Did she sue this thing? Did she sue the shoes? She does. No, no, I think it should be. My eyes.
Ella está I know. I know. It's life, huh? Yeah.
Yes.
I saw her.
Hi, everyone. I have an update from Rabbi. He went to the wrong location. He's on his way here now, and unfortunately, he'll be here in about 15 minutes. So I'm sorry for the delay. Let me know if I can help you with anything. There's some water up there.
You want some water?
He went to a different cemetery. The rabbi. He's on his way. He'll be here in about 15 minutes. I'm not sure. Jim Cohen just texted me. And he asked me to express his sincere apologies.
That sounds like something.
Oh.
למה הכל?
אני יכולה להוציא. אני גם, אני הבאתי משתמע על זה. הם עשינו פיתות.
You know why?
I don't drink wine.
Daughter's in my house.
Actually, I asked her anywhere.
No,
Sorry. I should have. Mom. It's okay. You can sit.
There's no time for.
We're all there.
Nice to meet you. Look at we're on the same day. It's good to go on. For you. Good for you. So true.
Did I tell you three was on the way? Huh? Why we tell not to-
I know, anyway.
They did not three was coming, but they don't. We're not gonna make it. But just come to the house. Okay. He came from like some place I never heard of him. Or he was climbing some muscle
I think I'm so.
So he jumped in the car. And I think it was like 7 hours or something away. I pulled him for him.
באמצע בבוקר? That's really pretty hard. Should be.
You know, with the mask.
What I want to do.
Benny?
C'est le fils non. C'est le fils aîné.
Yes, yes.
I don't know how long it's going, but you know the name. Yeah, no longer. Well, I'm guessing.
I don't know. I don't know which check is.
No, I just.
This is Marcel. You know Jackie? Do you know Jackie? Where is she? She's somebody asked me. She's asking. Somebody asked me.
I'm not sure.
Nice to come over. Yeah. But it's the same. For a few months. She said, not ugly. I know who you are. I'm Michelle. Michelle. Hi. Hi. I'm okay. I'm here. I think it was a very long time ago. Yeah. Okay. How about yourself? You said, yeah, all the time. We suffer. Yeah, otherwise, you know,
Just really. Nine at the time. It was very.
really,
Turned out to be. Look back to that. But yeah, that's.
Just make sure that the chapter.
Where does he live?
He's a coach.
Albert.
First, I'd like to apologize to everybody for making you wait. My tardiness, I'm sorry. Koilai mekra, ba'amar moekra, kolabasor chotzir, b'chol chasdoi kitzitz hasadeh, yovesh chotzir novel tzitz kiruach hadoinoi noshva boy, ochein chotzir ha'am, yovesh chotzir novel tzitz, udvar leheinu yakum li'olam. Prophet Isaiah in Haftorah that we just read a couple of weeks ago compares man to the grass of the field. And he says, a voice cries out, and I say, what shall I cry? All flesh is grass, and all its beauty is like the flower of the field. The grass withers, the flower fades, when the wind of the Lord blows upon it. Surely people are like grass. The grass withers, the flower fades, but the word of our God shall endure forever. Kirachem avabonim richam Adonai al Yirayav. Kihu yada Yitzreinu zachor ki'afar anachnu. Enosh kechotzir yamav kitzitz hasadeh kein yotzitz. Kiruach avrabai ve'einenu v'ayekirenu ed mekaymai. V'chesed Adonai me'elam me'adol mal Yirayav. Tzidkosei levnei vonim. Tender as a father with his children, the Lord is merciful with those who revere him. He knows how we are fashioned. He remembers that we are but dust. The days of man are like grass. He flourishes as a flower in the field. The wind passes over it and it is gone, and no one can recognize where it grew. But God's compassion for those who revere him, his righteousness to children's children, remains age after age unchanging. And again, the prophet Isaiah says, Al tira ki imcha ani, al tishtok ki ani alehecha. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. Imatzticha pazarticha p'temachticha b'mintzitki. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will sustain you through my power. I'd like to ask my co-rabbi over at Aish, Rabbi Menachem Sidus, to please come forward and read Psalm 15. Mizmor leDavid, Adonai mi garbalecha, mishkain v'harkachecha. Hoylech tamim u'foel tzedek, v'dover emes b'levavoi. Lo yagal l'shainai, v'le'asa l'rehura, v'cherpa le'nasa al kiroivoi. Nivzer v'inav nivas, v'esirei Adonai yichabed, mishpa le'hara v'lo yamir. Kasper le'nasan v'neshech, v'shechal amaki. Song of David, Lord, who may sojourn in your tent, who may dwell in your holy mountains, one who walks in purity, does what is righteous, and speaks the truth from the heart, who has no slander on the tongue, nor has done harm to a fellow, nor cast disgrace towards a neighbor, in whose eyes a contemptible person is repulsive, but who honors those who are in awe of the Lord, who swears truthfully, even to personal hurt, and never retracts, who does not lend money on interest, nor takes a bribe against the innocent. One who does these things shall never falter. Ask Rabbi Lieben, please come and read Psalm 23. Mizmor leDavid,
Adonai roi lo echsar. Ino sesha yarbiteni. Amei menuchos yanaleini. Nafshi shoive yancheni. V'magale tzedek v'man shemo. Gam ki elech v'geitz amoves. Lo yiroro ki ato imodi. Shivtecha mishantecha heimo yenachamuni. Taroch lefonai shulchan neget zareroi. Dishanta b'Hashem roshi kosi revayo. Achto b'chesed yirlefuni kol yemei chayoi. V'shavti b'veis Adonai le'arech yamim. A song of David, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not lack. Hashem causes me to lie down in lush pastures, leads me beside tranquil waters. Hashem restores my soul and guides me in righteous paths for his name's sake. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your scepter and your staff, they comfort me. Prepare a table before me in full view of my adversaries. You've anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. May only goodness and kindness pursue me all the days of my life. I shall dwell in the house of the Lord for length of days.
Dear Esther, Avi, Zev and Paula, Miri, and John, Molly, grandchildren, 7 great-grandchildren, Molly, Leah, and Benny, and I believe Ella is here as well. Come today to pay final respects and say goodbye, at least in terms of our physical relationship of this world with our husband, father, grandfather, great-grandfather, and friend, Zalman Ancel. Rabbi Liban just read from Psalm 23, Shivtecha mishantecha heimo yenachanu. Your scepter and your staff, they comfort me. What are those? Your scepter and your staff. Both are used to prod mankind and to allow mankind to continue in his journey. Sometimes a scepter is used to walk with, to hold like a cane, and a staff can be used sometimes to hit somebody. And the metaphorical staff sometimes means when times are difficult and we find that we can relate to God both in times of good, when we have a staff to lean on and the good is obvious, and also at times of challenge, tragedy, sadness, and difficulty, where it's sometimes a staff that hits us, sometimes that causes us to turn to God as well. And when somebody passes away, after however many years they merited to journey on this earth, the staff, although may be painful, causes us to think about life, causes us to think about death. Without death, life would have no meaning. Without death, we would never be urged and never be motivated to move forward. It's the fact that people die that forces people to think about their mortality and to do things. It's one of the reasons that our sages said that God shortened the years of mankind after the earlier generations that are mentioned in the Torah, because the earlier generations did not do very well. Led to their own destruction with the flood, the times of Noah. And therefore, we say Psalm 23, and we say, God, even a time of death is a time to turn to you. And in some ways, even a stronger time. There's a medrash that says that we have it all backwards. When a child is born, we all, sometimes we cry, but if we cry out of joy. And we yell, Mazel Tov, and we're all happy. And when a person dies, of course, we're sad. And of course, that's appropriate. But the Medrash says that in reality, it's the other way around. Because it's like a port. When a ship leaves a port, and you've seen, maybe you've been there in person, if not, you've seen it in the movies, how people are waving goodbye and they're cheering when people leave and they're going out. And oftentimes people don't know when the ship is coming in. And oftentimes when they come in, there's not such a big cheering section when the ship returns. But it should be just the opposite. Because when the ship leaves and it's going out on a journey, nobody knows what's going to be with that ship, if it's going to make it to the other side of the sea. And if it does, how successful they'll be. When they come back peacefully, when they come back home, that's the time to cheer. The Medrash says that's a person's life. When a person is born, they have a blank slate. A person has a blank slate, but nobody knows what's going to be with that slate. So therefore, not necessarily a time to rejoice. But when a person dies and his soul goes back to where it came from, and it goes to continue its life in another realm. So then, if the life here was well lived and worth living, then that would be a time to rejoice. And that's what we hear sometimes, that we hear stories or we hear the idea that people's parents and grandparents and great people are out there to welcome them, because hopefully they're coming back to welcome a soul that's better off when it comes back to its source than when it left. So Zalman ben Tzvi and Chaya, Zalman and Ancel, came to this world, I'm sure, with much joy and happiness, the youngest of 4 children, born in Romania on February 20th, 1937. He lived in the city of Iași, which was a fairly large Jewish population, Romania. And there, from a very, very young age, he endured the horrors of the Holocaust. Although it's true that compared to what some of the others in Poland and Germany went through, wasn't the same. But nevertheless, the Germans were there. They had their Romanian collaborators. There was lack of food. There was death on the streets. There were roundups. There were pogroms. And this is the youth, the young years, from age 4 to 8 or something like that, that Zalman lived through. And he had a very, very difficult childhood from that sense, in that sense. At the same time, he had cousins there, and most of his family, except maybe some distant relatives or not immediate family who didn't survive, but the other ones somehow, by the grace of God, managed to survive together. And Zalman had wonderful memories of his childhood together with his cousins and his family. And probably it's having undergone such a youth, probably what made him so tough and be able to stand up through a lot of challenges and difficulties that he endured in life in general. As a person grows older, hopefully a person gets to think more about life and somewhat softens, but a person, he needed that toughness and that strength to get through a lot of things in life. Zalman's family came to the land of Israel. Zalman was not yet bar mitzvah, 1949, 1950. And after he finished his education, he went into the army. And Zalman fought in 3 wars for the people of Israel and the land of Israel. He fought in the Sinai campaign in 1956. He fought in the 6-Day War, and also in the Milchemet Yom Kippurim, in the Yom Kippur War, although in the Yom Kippur War, he didn't fight as as in the military per se. He wasn't engaged in combat. Rather, apparently, from some skills that he had gained, I don't know how he learned those skills while learning glass blowing, but he had skills that he had, and they had him work on secret operations during that war that he never spoke about afterwards. And therefore, he was not involved in the actual combat per se, but he was helping his people in another way. He married Esther, 1959, is that correct? 1959. After the Yom Kippur War, and having fought in 3 wars, Zalman and Esther decided this was not something that they wanted their children to have to go through. All their children were born in Eretz Yisrael, but they didn't want their children to have to live through wars and fight through wars. So they came to America. Already in Israel, he had learned the trade of glass blowing, and he was successful at that, and apparently very, very good at it. I know that my wife, on more than one occasion, took my kids as a trip to Zalman's store to watch Zalman, who entertained them, showed them the art of glass blowing, which my kids really, really enjoyed. I'm sure he did that for others as well. He was a hard worker. He came to America. He was in meat packing. He wasn't a welder. He was a welder, but he eventually came back to his glass blowing business, along with other businesses that he had. Sometimes he was gruff, but he was also very funny, and he had a very, very humorous side to him, and he was a kibbutzer. I saw that side of him a lot over the years. I knew Zalman, and she should live and be well, Esther, for well over 30 years. He used to joke. He had his oldest sister. He was, as I said earlier, the youngest of 4 siblings. His oldest sister is still alive in the land of Israel. The other 2 have passed on. But he used to joke. He used to tell his sister, because weight was something that he struggled with. He used to say, "I was born hungry." He was generous. He was loyal. He was extremely protective of his family. He's a good father, a good grandfather, and of course, he felt very, very, very close to his children. And although the entire family chipped in, his doctor, Paula, and all the children were there to help, Mary and John actually moved in to help take care of him for the last many months, for which he was very, very grateful. When I visited him a couple of weeks ago, I shared with him the verse in Tehillim, how fortunate he was that his children were surrounding him. Your children, they're like olive shoots. They're around your table. They're providing you with nourishment and sustenance. And they provided him certainly with extra life. Zalman was learned. He lived in a religious kibbutz when he came to Israel, but he took on a special love for learning. He actually went through the Talmud Bavli. He finished Shas twice. He went through the cycle of Daf Yomi 2 times. And that's certainly when a person comes to the next world and can make the statement, I was there every single day for 15 years, not missing he never missed a day, but for 15 years straight learning Daf Yomi. What an incredible accomplishment. For those who may not be familiar, in the Talmud there are 2,711 folios. Each folio has 2 sides of a page, so it takes approximately, at learning, 1 folio a day, and there's a calendar for it that started in 1923, and they're now on the 14th cycle. They study 2 sides a day, and they finish it every 7.5 years, which means that if Zalman finished the Daf Yomi twice, that means for at least 15 years he was studying Talmud daily. May that be a very, very great merit to his neshama. My relationship with him was always a good one. Just wasn't constant, on and off through the years. Sometimes had a relationship with him for years, sometimes we didn't see each other. But whenever we met, even if we hadn't seen each other in 2 years, we would hug and we were friends. And I'll miss him. He was very kind to me, as Esther, throughout all the years. May his memory be a blessing. I'd like to close before asking Avi to say a few words, or many he'd like, to read to you a short poem saying they never quite leave us. Because somebody is around for 84 years and they have a family with kind heart, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, they leave their mark on this world. Hopefully the mark that Zalman left was a good one that will continue for generations. So I'd just like to read the following. It's called They Never Quite Leave Us. They never quite leave us, our friends who have passed, through the shadows of death to the sunlight above. 1,000 sweet memories are holding them fast to the places they blessed with their presence and love. The work which they left, the smiles which they left, the laughs which they left, and the time that they shared, speak mutely in the future, though still with an eloquence rare. And the songs that they sang and the words that they said, yet linger and sigh on the desolate air. And often when alone, and often in the throng, or when evil allures us, or sin draws us near, a whisper comes gently, nay, don't do wrong. And we feel that our weakness is felt on high. And we feel that Zalman is watching and helping us from above. May his memory be for a blessing. May all his memories that you have of him be good ones that cause you to smile, ones that cause you to laugh, one that calls you to keep on feeling connection to him, and ones that will bring blessing to all your lives. May God erase, absorb, and swallow up death forever, and may tears be erased from the face of all mankind. Amen. That's not it.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. I know it was a very short notice. Everybody in Israel, if you're watching, hello. You're not here, but you're with us. I can feel you. Now, what is alive never dies. The body may quit, but the soul goes on forever. Abba, I'm going to miss you so much. But I am humbled, even though I'm the firstborn, which was not up to me, by my siblings and their spouses, John, Paula, Miri, Zevi. I've never seen such dedication. I don't even come close to even thinking about being as good as you guys are, and how you treated Abba and took care of him all the time. Abba taught me and all of us a lot of lessons. Everybody thinks he was so tough, but I saw the other sides. He was the most loving, caring person. He's my hero. He taught me everything I know in business and in life. He told me in business, you can either be honest or dishonest, and you better choose honest. You cannot be a little bit dishonest. And he taught me how to take care of family, because he took care of his family. He came here just to make sure his kids are going to be okay, because he did not want us to go through what he went through. A few years ago, I translated some things that were not in Yash. It took me maybe 3 months to translate 2 paragraphs only. And I could not believe the horror they went through. I was upset all the time. I was crying as I was translating. And I wrote my cousin Leah in Israel, how could you do this? Without, I couldn't do it anymore. I finally finished it. I gave it to Zevi, I think, to give to somebody else. So now I remember one thing when Abba told you, Mary, that only righteous go to heaven. He's righteous, and he's definitely going to heaven. I just know it. I know it 100%. But we're human, none of us are perfect. And I wish you, Abba, a good journey. I will never, ever go by one day without thinking about you. I love you, I always loved you. And we will take care of Ima and the rest of each other. The grandkids, the great grandkids, we are one group together. United all the time, not always get along, but always united and loving each other no matter what.
We've come together sharing our sorrow to bid farewell to Zalman and Ancel. We recall the blessing of his life. We thank God for all that was good and true in his life, and for the precious memories that shall endure. Eternal God, Creator, merciful Father of all, your children bowed in grief seek light to dispel the dark gloom which overwhelms them. Be gracious to those who mourn, for they are in distress. Bless them with your compassion. Ease their burden of sorrow. Send them light and peace. For it is written, Al tira ki itcha anochi, fear not, as I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will sustain you with my awesome power. Let us say Amen. The dust returns to the earth as it was, but the spirit returns unto God who gave it. May the soul of Zalman and Zalman ben Tzvi and Chaya be bound up in the bonds of life eternal. Send comfort, O Lord, to those who mourn. Grant strength to those whose burden is sorrow. O merciful Father, our refuge and Redeemer, and let us say Amen. We're now going to do the Kriya, the bending of the garments. Child who tears of the heart. The parent, the child tears over the heart. Some writes it. Times when they used to mend the garments, if they needed to, they were allowed to mend the garment. It was charged with lots of love, but not of care. Dayan. have the opportunity now, sad opportunity, but to take part in a great mitzvah, what's called Chesed Shel Emet, final kindness to on this world. Zalman, anything that we do afterwards will all be spiritual effect on his neshama, learning Torah, saying Tehillim, doing a chesed in his memory, giving tzedakah in his memory. And here's the last thing that we can do for his body to help give him a Kurat Yisrael, the proper burial. Zalman, Tzvi, and Chaya, everything that we have done, we tried to make the burial, the family made sure the burial would take place as quickly as possible, which is hopefully a benefit for your Neshama if we've done anything wrong, and also the fact that I made you wait. I ask for forgiveness on behalf of myself, anybody else here who needs to ask for forgiveness, if anything was not done properly, everything that we did, we tried to do for your honor, for your well-being, for your dignity and respect. And if we did anything wrong, we ask you for forgiveness. That you come to us and turn the fire to the floor to shoot. Adonai no san bad lo lokach, Shem Adonai mevayrach. Adonai no san bad lo lokach, Shem Adonai mevayrach. Adonai no san bad lo lokach, Shem Adonai mevayrach. God is given, and God is taken in the name of God. Whoever would like to participate in this. Back to the prayer from Abraham, the next person.
Just
So, covered. And it looks like sorry. Recite Tziduk Hadin, followed by the Kaddish. Zu Tamim Alek Chadra Av Mishpat Elam Nada in Abel Sadik Yashar. Zu Tamim Chalkaram Yom Titel Mashal Mat Mal. Mi Yom Matasa Emel Basech Chesed Chinen Hom Taseh. Sadik Chadrach Zu Tamim. עדיין מצליח לצלח למצדיק, הצבא דינה אל חמיס ולחייס. אדם מבן שנה יהיה, אלף שנה יחיה, ישראל מלך ויחי יהיה, ברוך דיין האמת ממיס מחיה. ואם האחמוס בשפתח הזה. Wel het zo verhaal ja, ze net bekroeg het al dag en Adam says dat ik de God het prima wel hakit ja sharonai suri blijf was bij het nooit san dat nooit kach je shame dat in een dag hoe raak je het bij me ja stress we hier was so these rise we're going to say the graveside memorial Kaddish. Let me ask that Zalman had not only a great love for his family, but had a fierce love for the Jewish people. and for Eretz Yisrael. That love bring a merit to the Jewish people who are suffering so much in so many different parts of the world. May he be a Melech Yosher, and may his neshama, the zchut of all the wonderful things that he did, and the Ahavas Yisrael that he had, serve in good stead for the Jewish people. Hamish. Skadal, Skada, Shnei Rabba, Ba'alma, Tihu, Asid, Le'is Hadasa, Ulachaya, Mesaya, Ula'asaka, Yashon, Lachaye, Alma, Ulamivnei, Karta, Dirushalem, Ushachlala, Ichle Begava, Ulamekar, Pulchana, Nuchra'a min Ara, Ulasaba, Pulchana, Dishemaya, Lasre, Biamlich, Kutsha, Berichu, B'mafusei, Bichlorei, Chayachain, Yemechain, Chayei, B'chol Beis Yisrael, Agalo, Bizman Kariv, Yehei Shemei, Rabba Mevorach, Olam, Omel, Maya, Yisborach, Yishtabach, Yisbohar, Yisramam, Yisnasei, Yishadav, Yishalev, Yishalol, Shmei, Yekudisha, Berichu, Le'elah, Min Kol, V'chasa, V'shirasa, Tushbechasa, V'nechemasa, Kamiram Be'alma, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shlomo Rabba Min Shemaya, Chaim Oleinu, Kol Yisrael V'imru, Amen. Yiseh Shalom V'imru, Yiseh Shalom Oleinu, Kol Yisrael V'imru, Amen. El Molei Rachamim, Sheichein B'Ameroimim, Hamtzei Menucha Nechoina, Tachas Kanpei HaShechina, B'Mahalayis Kedoshim U'Tahirim, Kezayah HaRakia Mazhirim, Es Nishma Zalman Ben Tzvi, B'Chaya Shehalach Lo'elamai, Bavur Shemishpachtai Mispallim B'Adas Koras Nishmosai, B'Gan Eden Tehei Menuchasai, Lochem Bal Rachamim Asireu B'Seiser Knofecha Lo'elamim, Utzrar B'Tzrachim Es Nishmosai, Adonai Hu Nachalasai, Yonuach B'Shalayim Al Mishkavai, V'Noimar Amen. A God full of compassion who dwells on high, grant proper repose on the sheltering wings of your divine presence, in the lofty levels of the holy and the pure ones who shine as the globe of the firmament, unto the soul of Zalman, son of Tzvi and Chaya, who has gone on to his world. And in his memory we pray, and the Nether's family and others will give tzedakah in his memory. May his repose be in paradise. May the Master of Compassion bring him under the cover of God's wings and bind his soul in the bonds of life eternal. May God be his heritage, and may he repose on his place in peace. And let us respond, Amen. Amen. The family will be sitting Shiva at Esther and Zalman's home, 9830 East 9980. Sorry, 9980. Sorry, 9980 East Walsh Place through Friday. I don't know the specific hours, but the family will try to make mincha outdoors at 7:30 each day. That should not take more than 30 to 40 minutes. So if you can join for the minyan or help others, join for the minyan, that would be great. Also, they will be sitting Shiva in the home, but they ask that only people who are vaccinated come inside the house, and they will also have masks available. They ask that everybody put on. There may be immunocompromised people inside the home, and they want to make sure that they keep everybody safe. So again, 7:30 Mincha Marba, you can come visit during the day. If you want to know specific hours, call one of the members of the family and they'll let you know. May Zalman rest in peace. May the family have nechama. What we'll do is the mourners will stay here for a moment while the rest of us, right behind the last set of graves, will make 2 rows, and then the mourners will pass between us. It's called the Shura, and then we'll offer our words of comfort to them. This concludes the service. Sí, sí.
Vale.
Está fresca.
No, que le perdí su chimbo, chavo. Vale. No es un beso.